So among the many items on the agenda for President Trump during this summit with President Xi is the plight of Jimmy Lai, the 78-year-old former Hong Kong media tycoon, a staunch pro-democracy advocate. He's been imprisoned since December of 2020 on charges of sedition stemming from Hong Kong's controversial national security law. In February, Lai was handed a 20-year sentence, which his family fears will keep him behind bars for the rest of his life. On Monday, the president spoke about the detainment of Mr. Lai.
Jimmy Lai, he caused lots of turmoil for China. He tried to do the right thing. He wasn't successful, went to jail, and people would like him out, and I'd like to see him get out too. So I'll bring him up again. I have brought him up.
It's our pleasure to welcome Claire Lai to National Report. She is the daughter of Jimmy Lai. Claire, what do you hope comes out of this meeting? Do you think there's a chance that your father might be released?
I mean, firstly, I am so extremely grateful to President Trump and his administration. President Trump has mentioned his commitment to freeing my father a number of times. Of course, I know it's not an easy task, but I believe that if anyone can do it, President Trump can. And we are just so extremely grateful for his support and the support we have received from both houses of Congress.
Claire, how much contact do you have with your dad? Because, you know, I mean, he's getting older, so you must have concerns about his health, the conditions he's being kept in, how they're treating him.
So, as you rightly said, my father is turning 79 this year, and he has been kept in solitary confinement for the entirety of his imprisonment, well, all but 2 of those days. And, you know, I was in Hong Kong up until around July, and I got to visit, but not extremely frequently. Now we communicate through letters. I mean, his health is failing. He has heart issues, diabetes, a severely compromised immune system, and just, you know, a cascade of health issues. And of course we worry, and he's very much sustained by his faith and you know, and the prayers of many good people. But yeah, I mean, this is an extremely urgent case, and you know, solitary confinement has been shown to have extremely detrimental health impacts. So we're extremely worried about our father.
Well, Claire, in September of 2020, your father sat down for one of his final interviews as a free man when he spoke with the BBC. Here's a clip.
You must fear some things for your family, for Hong Kong, for your loved ones. Yes, I do have fear. You're right.
What kind of emotions does that stir for you, seeing your father like that before he was locked up?
Gosh, you know, my father is a man who always thinks about what service he can do for others. I mean, he is, even now in prison, he is always praying for others, praying for friends, praying for strangers, and praying for his family and, you know, acquaintances. And, you know, the interview shows him worrying about his family. And even now, oftentimes when we visit, the people he worries about the most is not, even though he's the one who's going through it, the ones he worries about the most are the people around him. And it's, you know, he's often said that he doesn't know how he would survive imprisonment without the help of God. And he asks me to pray for others who to help him pray for others who haven't opened their hearts to God, so that God may help them. And you know, that's just sort of the man that my father is. And you know, on the one hand, I'm extremely proud of him. On the other hand, I just long for the day our family can be reunited.
Claire, you know, this is happening as the president, Trump, is over there in China to meet with President Xi. You said that you were in Hong Kong until recently. I lived there before. And, you know, you see the changes that happened there, despite what China had told the world it would do in Hong Kong, which was much more of a hands-off policy. What's your fear about the conversations that the presidents are having and what China may say and then may not follow up on?
I mean, as you rightly said, I mean, China is hasn't kept its promise, in the Sino-British Joint Declaration. I mean, I think it's important to remember my father. He is a man who was, he was anti-violence. He was anti-independence of Hong Kong. He is someone who just wanted for the promises that were made in the Sino-British Joint Declaration in the basic law to be kept, and he wanted the place that helped him thrive as a boy when he went to Hong Kong as a 12-year-old, to give back to that place, and but I think President Trump, he has earned the title of being the liberator-in-chief, and I think if anyone can make it happen, it's definitely President Trump. I'm extremely confident of that. I'm confident that President Trump is the president that will free my father.
Yeah. Well, it's sad to see what's happened to Hong Kong, and certainly troubling to see how many people have been impacted by that. Claire Lai, you and your father are in our thoughts. Thank you so much for being with us.
We wish you the best. Good luck.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.